David Benavidez, who wasn't defending his title, but got a big victory over the always tough but punching bag-like Alexis Angulo. He made him quit in between rounds 10 and 11. Gogue, there's a lot to like about this kid, but one of them isn't his discipline. Your thoughts on David Benavidez' TKO performance last night on Showtime?
I think he's a hell of a fighter, Joe. What the main thing I like about Dave, he's a young kid, but he's very relaxed, very relaxed, real nice and he's real nice and loose and relaxed in the ring, just like a young James Toney. Okay, he doesn't let anything fluster him. Okay, especially when Angulo pushed him back by the ropes, he was throwing all those punches. You kept us calm and cool, hands up, and just flip the punches, block the punches like it was no big deal and everything. He's got a long, that fight yesterday was dictated by Benavidez' jab, controlling that range, busting them up slowly, okay? Fans out there, if you're listening in, when you're trying to break a tough piece of meat down, you're just not going to go out there and throw punches and try to knock them out. It doesn't happen like that. It's a process, that takes rounds to break a fighter that's tough like Angulo. And it starts with the jab. The jab is the number one weapon when you break a fighter down. You consistently, hit a guy with the jab from round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, his face starts swelling up, okay? His nose starts busting up, okay? His eyes start, swelling up, okay? Then he'll start slowing down. Then you mix body shots up like Benavidez does, okay? They'll break him down even more. And David, he just broke him down intelligently, with that big, long stick jab. The body shots, he was, digging in, especially the little sweeping right hook to the liver, them left hooks, the uppercuts, the straight right hands. Man, that Benavidez, he's not, what do you call it, just has a few weapons in his arsenal. He's got many weapons in his arsenal. He throws all types of punches at you, at all angles, okay? And unlike, even though he's tall, he could fight in the pocket. When you get there, he's not going to just tie and hold you up, like you see in the Eastern European or British fighters, who can't fight inside. This guy, you get inside, he wants to fight inside. He loves to fight inside. You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's natural for him. And this Benavidez, as far as his fighting ability, I ain't got a problem with that. Like you said, Joe, his lack of being a pro 24/7 between fights, staying in training, letting his lack of discipline, of letting his weight go too high, and not, sticking to a strict diet, to keep his weight in check between fights. That's my only concern about this kid, and it's going to bite him in the ass. He's 23 years old, Joe, and if he don't correct those habits, you know what I mean? Hey, Joe, in this sport, you can take shortcuts, but shortcuts are going to bite you in the ass one day. You just never know.
Indeed. Well, congratulations to David Benavidez. So what's next for David? Because we did speak with our very good friend Henry Ramirez, trainer, on Friday, and he's a good friend of David Benavidez, and that's admittedly one of his favorite young fighters to watch. And he was, giving him the benefit of the doubt, saying, maybe it's a result of maybe the unorthodox training of this during this pandemic. Maybe that had a lot to do with it. Maybe the gym restriction time, staying at the bubble.
Joe,
what are your thoughts on that? But you don't agree with that, though, do you?
No, he has his own private gym he built, okay? Wherever he lives, in Seattle, I don't know where he lives, or Phoenix. He has his own private gym, okay? He could train there anytime he wants. It's not like a public gym like Wildcard where they had to shut it down. He could walk it in, he could go there anytime. And how do you let yourself get way overweight, okay? It's called lack of discipline, not eating the right foods, not having the right nutrition. He admitted that last night. He didn't say right off, yeah, I screwed up and I ate myself. I ate anything I wanted and I ballooned up like a fat pig. You know what I mean? Look at his body at the weigh-in, Joe. Look how that's the worst condition I've ever seen that kid. He looks soft in there at the weigh-in. You know what I mean, Joe? That tells me right there. You know what it told me, Joe? When he was getting ready for this fight, he wasn't in shape. He wasn't in condition. He was fat and overweight. It was a fat weight. It was a fat weight loss camp, not not a camp to get ready for a fight. You want to hear a story about Bernard Hopkins, Joe, to our listeners?
Absolutely, sir.
Back in the 90s when we used to train in Big Bear, Bernard just became champion, okay? He was getting ready to fight a title defense against Glenn Johnson, okay? In fact, both were training in the same gym. Yeah, Glenn would train earlier and Bernard would come in the afternoon. It was Larry Goosen's gym in Big Bear. Larry Goosen had the first high-altitude training center in the United States. It was something new over there, training in high altitude, getting the best condition in your life. So Hopkins wanted to try it out. So he came there. Get this, Joe. I remembered I was there. First time I ever met this guy. He flew all the way from Philly to Ontario because there's not an airport in Big Bear. You got to drive from Ontario, California to Big Bear, hour and a half away. He flew all the way across the country, got off the plane. One of the guys picked him up and drove him all the way to Big Bear, hour and a half away. You know what he did, Joe? Instead of going to his apartment, putting his bags away, he came right into the gym. And you know what? He went up to Larry Goose and he goes, "I want to spar." And Larry goes, "Hey,
wow.
man, you know what he said, Joe? Look." Larry goes, he goes, "Larry, I want to spar." Larry goes, "Hey, Bernard, you just got up here. It takes a while to get, acclimated to this altitude. You've been traveling all day. Just go back and come back tomorrow." He goes, "No, I want to spar." He goes, "Okay." So he got this guy, I think Raul Franco, who was training up there. And, they went 6 rounds and he beat the shit out of him. And afterwards, he came up to me and Larry. We were watching him and he looked at us and he goes, "I didn't come here to get in shape. I'm in shape. I came here to get ready for a fight." I said, "Whoa."
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's the attitude Bernard had, okay? He didn't go into camp to get ready, to get in shape. He was in shape when he got in. He said that. "I'm in shape. I'm getting here I'm up here to get ready for a fight." Okay? And that's the attitude fighters should have. When you go into camp, you should be in shape already. Okay? All right? But the only way you do that, Joe, is if you live a Spartan lifestyle, 24/7, 7 days a week, maintaining your discipline to your diet, okay? Training between fights, to maintain your conditioning or to improve your conditioning, Joe, with strength and conditioning. There's all kinds of strength and conditioning, stuff you could do nowadays between fights. Develop your skills and everything. Bernard, he was telling me, I learned a lot from that guy when I was up there. I was watching him training. Back then he had Bowie Fisher was his trainer. Not once did they work the hand pads, by the way. Not once did they work the hand pads. It was just old-fashioned shadow boxing, sparring, hit the heavy bag, speed bag. Yeah, it was old school, And I watched him. He had very great work habits in the gym. Okay, he was meticulous, all business. When he got in that gym, it wasn't, nowadays you go to gyms, it's like a high school, where everybody's socializing and taking selfies and all that shit. Hopkins, he was all business in that gym. When he got to that gym, he went to work. And when give you an example, if his training time was 1, he got there at 1. Okay, no, he got there like 15 minutes earlier than he trained at 1. Oh yeah, he was very meticulous in his training habits. Oh yeah, and when he got there, Joe, a lot of guys take 5-6 weeks to get used to that altitude and slowly break themselves, slowly work their way in the running to get their body used to it. Not Hopkins. Hell no, he ran up there like he was running at sea level, 7,000 feet altitude. Yeah, just meticulous work habits. Just what I learned from him. And right then and there, I remember Larry told me, he goes, because Larry, he just became champion. He goes, "Look, you see that Gogue? He's going to be a champion for a long time."
Boy, was he ever?
Yeah. It's the work habits, Joe. It's the discipline. That's what gets you. Can have talent like Benavidez, but that's going to catch up to you if you don't do all the extra stuff. And you shouldn't have your fucking coach babysit you to tell you to do it. You should do it. Okay? You should be an adult, a professional, and do it. Okay? You shouldn't have his daddy, hold him by the hand and, "Oh, mijo, don't eat that. That's not good for you." Or, "Mijo, let's go to the gym." You know what I mean? Or weigh him every day. He should do all that himself, Benavidez. Okay? The kid's not mature enough. That's what he's telling me, Joe. He's got to learn. He's not mature. Even though he's got to me, he's got a, he's a very good fighter, Joe. You know me, I don't give a lot of compliments out there because I don't think a lot of these bitches could fight nowadays. But this kid's a solid fighter, okay? But he doesn't have the other half to be a great fighter, and that's that discipline and the commitment between fights, okay? Every time he gets ready for a fight, it's a fat loss. Jenny Craig fat loss count.
Indeed. Well, tell you what, congratulations to Mr. David Benavidez. Now, Gogue, what is now the WBC title at 168 pounds has been vacated. You think Golden Boy Promotions and Canelo Alvarez and DAZN, you think they're going to try to make a move for that sooner rather than later?
Canelo, without a doubt, he brings the money to the WBC. The WBC, the WBA, and all them organizations, they're all about money, okay? Who's going to bring the most money to them? And Canelo right now, he's a cash cow. He's a cash cow in America,
Well, don't be surprised, guys, if you see DAZN try to put together an event for the 168-pound title that's just recently been vacated, the WBC. You might see them actually try to make a move to try and settle this out of court. Their dispute right now with Canelo Alvarez. Don't be surprised if you see Canelo versus Triple G3 for the vacant WBC 168-pound title. I have a feeling that's going to be...
I was going to say one thing, sir. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say one thing. What do you call it? Benavidez?
Mm-hmm.
How can you just give up your fucking title twice? First for cocaine, then the second time, on the scale. How can you just give, something you worked all your life, just give it up like that? Give up. He wasn't a regular champion or a emeritus champion, a champion in recess and all that bullshit. He was a real WBC champion, and he just gave up his belt. He just gave it up, Joe, without losing it. That's a total disrespect. He totally disrespected his craft, his profession. Okay, first cocaine, now this. That tells me, Joe, he ain't got it upstairs mentally. Okay, immature still.
Well, I tell you what, he'd better try like hell to make 168 again, because can you see him actually being able to take the shots of a guy like Arthur Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol at 175, Gogue?
Oh, geez. Different animals.
Completely different animal, guys. Well, best of luck to you, Mr. Benavidez. Hope you go back to the drawing board and come back stronger, brother, because you definitely have a talent and you have a lot of fans. So come back stronger, brother. Show us what you're made of. You're only 23 years old. You can rectify everything with one great training camp.